Richard D Wolff is Professor of Economics Emeritus at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. His educational background includes a BA in History from Harvard College, a MA in Economics from Stanford University, a MA in History as well as a PhD in Economics from Yale. He is a co-founder and contributor of Democracy at Work, a non-profit organization that promotes democratic workplaces as a key part of a transition to a better economic system. The New York Times Magazine has named him America's most prominent Marxist economist.
Well, that is the issue being fought out here in the United States right now. The biggest criticism from the left of Bernie Sanders is precisely that he stays in the Democratic Party. The biggest counter-argument that comes from him is that American politics is so set up that if he didn't stay in the Democratic Party, he wouldn't get the attention to what his criticisms are, he wouldn't get the audience, he wouldn't get the opportunity, so that at least for the time being, he has to stay in the Democratic Party. My response is we need him in the party and we need him out. Since we can't have him both, let him stay in the Democratic Party and be the left-wing voice. And if I can borrow from the German example, perhaps Mr. Sanders' role would be a little bit like Oscar Lafontaine. Maybe his job is to stay in the Democratic Party until those of us that are outside of the Democratic Party can have something big enough, strong enough, vibrant enough for him to say goodbye to the Democratic Party, and we can merge that which is to the left, which with the left wing of the old Democratic Party, and develop our version of the Die Linke Party. That may be how this proceeds. But I wouldn't say don't do it in the Democratic Party, because the reasons to agitate there remain. But that for the same reason, I would strongly support people working outside of the Democratic Party, critical of the Democratic Party, because for an awful lot, particularly of younger people, the Republican and Democratic parties are the old, dishonored, disrespected leftover of a society they don't like, that they don't support, and that they don't want. If you didn't have something outside of the Democratic Party, these people would turn away from political activity, and they were only brought in by Bernie Sanders, just like Jeremy Corbyn brought in 500,000 British people into the Labour Party. That has to be dealt with as a serious proposition. If the Labour Party succeeds in pushing Corbyn and his supporters out, they will form a new party. If the Democratic Party pushes Bernie out, same thing, which is why they don't do it. They're terribly afraid that they will begin to go down like the Social Democratic Party in Germany, which I believe is what will happen. Mr. Trump understood that by championing working class interests, by keeping jobs from leaving, by destroying Mexico, which is an insane political decision, the United States is going to have a failed state right on its border with millions and millions of desperate people. If Mr. Trump proceeds, and it actually works, which I don't think it will, but if it did, it will produce such a disaster in Mexico that that will be our politics for the next 40 years. So Americans know all of this, and I think the Democratic Party is in extreme difficulty now, not knowing what to do or how to move in this situation, and this is their own fault. They had opportunity when Obama was elected. They could have tried to do something. They didn't. And that's because they are part of this system and they can't think like that. And this is now going to cost them very big. That's why this election happened, and that's why our politics in the next year or two is going to be, from the European point of view, extremely strange and dangerous.